What's up, y'all? It's Brick. I'm about to show y'all how to make an OSAMASON type beat for PSYKOTIC. If you're new, drop a sub. I drop beats every week, and the full beat's gonna be on my channel. I also just started producing earlier this year, and I'm trying to get noticed, so if you like what you're hearing, feel free to share it. Alright, enough bullshit. Let's get into it. So you're gonna want to start off with just an idea, just a little bit of sauce. This is gonna set the foundation for your whole beat, so you're gonna lay this down and build off of that. This MIDI pattern in specific, I got from, I don't want to butcher that name, so this producer on YouTube, they got a crazy MIDI pack for free. I just threw a chord one shot in here that I got from Chrome Kids, and it sounds like this. And typically what I do when I'm trying to make a new beat and think of ideas is I just lay down literally anything. So I got this random pad to fill it out. Right, and added some keys and plucks on top of that. It don't gotta sound pretty without the original chords, but it's just an accent. It's like sprinkles on your ice cream, you feel me? I didn't add any effects to these or anything, it's just playing how it is. Now to kind of get that weird distorted sound that doesn't sound easy to replicate, you gotta pick something crazy that you wouldn't think anyone else would use in a beat. Exhibit A. So I got that playing every so often to just kind of keep it alive and add that weird, garbled, messy sound. And then I added this really weird bass hit that I added an EQ to and a soft clipper just to kind of keep it at bay. And I put it every time the 808 hits really hard. It's got that really crunchy sound to it. And for the leads, you're going to want to pick some of your bass notes from the original MIDI and base your lead off of that to kind of give it some rhythm. Just mess with some different octaves, different sounds, different length of notes to kind of give it that glitchy, distorted sound. Then you're going to want some white noise. I just found this sound from the drum kit that I have, and it just kind of gives it that like super grindy kind of sound that is really sought after in this genre. So I have that playing throughout basically the whole beat. My fault. And for this other lead that plays in a different section of the beat, I copied the same pattern as the other lead, but I added an overdrive, 2 EQs, kind of taking out the lows and the highs, and then bringing up the mids a little bit. And then the real sauce, if you can't afford Gross Beat, get this fucking plugin called D-Blue Glitch. It's kind of ass, but it's kind of good. Like, if you can't afford Gross Beat, you'll get by. You can customize a bunch of stuff in here if you want. This is way too complicated for me right now. I'm not trying to learn how to use a goofy ass plugin like this, but it works for the time being. With all the effects, it sounds like this. It sounds like weird and fucked up, but it's supposed to sound like that, don't worry. For the hi-hats, I kept it kind of simple, just adding little breaks every now and then, but it's a pretty simple pattern. Then you're gonna add your claps and some snares and some open hats and perks to fill it out a little more. Can never be too busy on one of these Jones. Now I'm gonna just play this 808 and I'll show you how I mixed it after because it's kind of So I took a decently normal sounding 808. It's kind of the same after I mixed it, but hear me out, hear me out. Stay with me. You're gonna want this shit to be hence the sausage fattener. This is one of my favorite plugins, honestly. Like, I love using this thing. I use it on not even 808s half the time. Got the fatness turned up about 63, ignore the government name, and the color 100%. And then I just have a limiter and a soft clipper on it. On the limiter, I got the gain about half, saturation all the way, and then ceiling about, I don't know, a third. It's really like bringing it up and bringing it down at the same time. I don't know how to describe it. You know how this shit works. And then soft clipper, threshold a little bit under half, and then post a little bit over 2/3. And then in your mixer track, if your 808's sitting down here, you ain't doing it right. You gotta bring that shit all the way up. How else are they gonna hear it? It really lets the limiter and the clipper like do its job when it's way oversaturated. So let's go back and let's hear the full melody together. It sounds kind of evil and like off key, but it works in the full mix, you know? Gotta do what you gotta do. you don't want to keep the drums the same for the whole beat. That's gonna make people bored. Come on now. You gotta switch it up a little bit, just like I did over here. For this section, I used basically the same percussion, just a different hi-hat pattern and 808. Oh, and I added an open hat and the classic perk that everyone loves. I specifically love this perk. This drum pattern sounds like this. And for the intro and the middle sections, I added some gunshot effects, because how is it an OSAMASON beat without gunshots? For the arrangement, I kept it decently simple. I started the beat without this lead, so it kind of gives you something to yearn for. You're like, I want more sound out of this, and then it happens, and you're like, so the lead comes and goes. And then for this section with the different drums and the crazy glitched out lead, I just added a little pause in the percussion right before that happens so the melody shines through, and then you hear the gunshots and then it goes crazy. For example, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Hold up. And then that part plays through with just those sounds. I don't add anything new. I took away the crazy bass sound because that part's not really meant to have it. Kind of better without it. And then I kept the chant when it goes back to the original pattern, just to kind of create a smoother transition, not have it be so jarring when it switches from one section to the next. And then the main lead comes back in full swing after another pause and some more gunshots. Last but not least, for the intro, I exported an entire bar of the hook and put it on its own mixer track with a low pass EQ and automated that as well as the tempo to kind of rise. Forgot to mention I'm in 147 BPM, by the way, and it gives it this really dark, like distorted sound effect. Shit makes me lose my mind. Over on the master, I never put anything crazy. I don't put a million sound goodizers on it. Literally old reliable EQ, soft clipper. That's all you need. And I boosted the lows and the highs a little bit. The highs to give it like that crunchy, saturated type of sound, and then boosted the lows a bit because it makes the 808 sound a lot better. And for the soft clipper, I have the threshold a little less than half and the post about 3 o'clock. So let me know what you thought. Full beat's gonna be in the description. I'm gonna be making new beats every week, posting new beats every week, new tutorials, new sauce every week. Guaranteed. I never gonna disappoint y'all. Better not fucking disappoint me. Also follow me on Instagram at ProdBrick. Get even more clips and stories and etc. And most importantly, DM me there if you're trying to work on something. And I'll see y'all later.